I knew it. I freaking knew it. All this time, I definitely knew that the killer, the one behind all these murders so many years ago, the man that is behind ruining Satoru's life for killing his mother and also framing him now in the future, it is none other than the teacher himself. The fatherly figure in this series is the mass murderer behind everything. Now, of course, this right here had been a theory of mine, and of course, a lot of people, for like some time now, but the fact that they finally confirmed it in such a brutal way as well, because this right here, this big reveal, it definitely crushed Satoru. But we see now the episode 10 of Erase. Not only was the ending so freaking intense, but the episode itself, it was definitely building up quite nicely, because we see now that they picked off from last week where we have Satoru, Hiromi, and Kenya. They were all gonna go talk to Aya for the first time. And so we see now that when they went there, obviously, they really had no idea how to really approach her. But we see now, they were asking her all these questions, about piano, and we see now, she was reading some advanced work by Shakespeare, because even Kenya was shocked when he saw her reading, that book. Now, personally, I forgot which one it was, but I know Kenya said that the only one he read was Romeo and Juliet. And so right now, Aya, she actually realized that she has seen them all before, because their hideout, they're actually their little secret hideout is pretty much in the open, on the opposite side of the river. So every time they had went there, she probably saw them. And so right now, she was at first she had called their hideout childish, and that right there made Kenya mad. And personally, me, I'm gonna be honest here, I was surprised to see Kenya get so worked up. But then we have Disney superheroes, and that right there made Satoru get angry. And we all know, how Satoru feels about that. And so right now, with them two getting mad at her, obviously, she was gonna leave. But then we have Kazu and the guy, and the boy with the glasses, watching them. And then out of nowhere, Kazu gets involved. But we see him now making that save, because he actually invited her, to the hideout sometime if she has free time, because he said that, that a hideout, it shows a man adventurous spirit, and that right there actually made her blush and run away. And personally, I thought maybe, we might never, see her show up again. But the following day, when they all went back there, and we even see how Satoru actually found the gloves that he actually left there 18 years ago as well. And also, we see now that in the beginning of the episode, we saw how originally their graduation played out, where we have, Kaio, Hiromi, Aya, they were all dead, and we have Kaio's and Hiromi family, in the classroom doing their graduation. And then we have their teacher, who we all know is the killer. We have him saying, how there have been, good times, sad times, success and failures. And so we see that he said, something was still missing. But he said, filling up that hole, that right there is what life is. And that right there, that little line also played, now I will say maybe that line was big, or maybe it wasn't. I definitely believe people will think differently about that. But I do believe, Satoru saying that, later on in the episode, I will say maybe that right there was a major plot point, maybe. But regardless, we have Aya, now coming to the hideout and now actually hanging out with them. And so now both Aya and Hiromi, they were now protected, because obviously there was no way the killer can get to them when they aren't alone anymore. But unfortunately, there was definitely a possibility for maybe, another victim, or at least or at least or at least a substitute victim because there was the girl who had tried to frame Kaio, like episodes ago with the whole money thing. She was now alone after that whole ordeal, and so right now Hiromi was the one who actually brought that to a Satoru's attention. But we see now that the first time he was like gonna go talk to her, he actually couldn't because we see her getting on this bus. And so right now we see that Kazu and Aya, they are definitely, getting pretty close. And so right now she is definitely taken care of. And then obviously Hiromi, he already has, that little group. So of course she's like fine as well. But now we have this girl that we have to worry about. And so we see now that maybe a day or two later, there was like some hockey game going on. And this right here would be a good chance to like spy on this girl and obviously learn, what she does after school. And so that way, they could possibly, talk to her and hang out with her. So that way she won't be, a new victim. And so we see now, Satoru, he was the one who was like going to go because obviously if they all win, that right there could make a scene. And so luckily, with only Satoru being there, he can obviously, stake out a lot better than worrying about everybody else. And so we see now that when he went there, it was obviously cold because of where he was. And we see now that obviously he saw the other kid from his school. And at first he almost couldn't find the girl, but obviously she was like alone, like drinking something. But eventually she had got him and left, and so we see now that when he had went to the bathroom and to watch out for her, we see now first that at first she was taking way too long, and then we have their teacher coming. And so right now, when he realized that, maybe she wasn't in the bathroom anymore, he actually got kind of worried. And so the teacher was like, he actually, saw her, come outside. And then we have Yuki's father, driving that truck, and obviously he was like leaving the area. And so right now, Satoru, he was definitely on high alert, and right now he has the teacher to help him. And so pretty much, Satoru was like telling him how they're playing detective, like how they pretend, there's like a kidnapper going around, taking all these kids. And so pretty much anyone who seems like alone, they would hang on in front of them, and so that way they could help them out while also helping them out themselves. And so right now, while Satoru and the teacher were talking, we see at one point Satoru actually, tells him that line about filling that hole in his heart. And then we have the teacher who was saying, he was gonna say that to the kids, during their graduation, because that right there was his philosophy on life. And so right now, when they were going into this tunnel, we have the teacher, constantly, tapping his finger. And so Satoru was Satoru was thinking that it was probably his habit, getting to him. And so we see now that when he opened that little, that little compartment in the car, because the first time Satoru did this, we saw all the candies fall out, but this time, it was like a pack of open laxative, and then we go to the teacher's face, and he had this creepy ass smirk on it. And so now finally he was coming out with the truth, telling him everything now about, how Satoru was fooling his plans, not once but twice, how he was testing to see whether or not Satoru really knew what he was doing, because he was the one who had told Hiromi about the game. And then we have Hiromi telling Satoru, because he was if Satoru comes here, then that all these fears he was thinking, that right there would be correct, because we see now that the way he was framing his father, Yuki's father, being behind these deductions, because he ordered like we have the teachers who actually ordered like the dinners, and so we see now that when he was like leaving, obviously, that right there led to like Satoru thinking the worst, and we also see now that he actually was going to kill that girl because he was the one who had put in a laxative, in her drink, and obviously when she came out, he was like probably going to kidnap her. And so then we see like then we see in a little flashback, all these times that we like saw the killer, like the first time where he actually, went into the bus and kicked that box while leaving that, backpack there. And then we also see him in like the original timeline where he actually came to like, Kaio, Shannon got her. And so right now, like all these holes were like slowly being filled in. And right now that was like crushing Satoru to the point where like that were their questions to the point where all you see on the screen is like a bunch of cracks. And so right now right now the teacher, he had like took him to like some kind of like lake that was like being frozen over. And so right now when he had driven onto it, he was like saying how it was game over for both of them. And so we see that Satoru, he was trying to get free, but of course he couldn't, because the first time he was like trying to like fasten his seatbelt, he actually couldn't do it. And that's when the teacher, had to help him, saying that, it been like getting sticky lately, but that right there was a lie, because now he actually can't get it undone. And so we learn now that the way he was like going about all these murders, he actually had all the cars that were like the same, same color, like everything, but he actually, had them in like different areas, so that way he can like use them at a moment's notice. And so right now, with him now getting out the car, before that he was like saying, like the way Satoru was like planning all this, like countering all of his actions, he was saying how like Satoru could like see the future, and obviously that right there is kind of true, but at the same time, I thought maybe, maybe the killer was like going to say he also had the power of like revival as well. And so obviously, and one other thing, Satoru actually saw his name, Yashiro. He actually saw that on the list, but at the same time, he also saw his mother name, which is why, he had like disregarded that list. But at the same time, if he would have, looked deeper into that, he actually could have caught the killer, a long time ago. And so right now we have Yashiro. He had got out now, and we see him using this basketball to actually, to actually put on one of the car's, pedals, so that way, it would like drive forward. And we see now, Satoru, he was like cursing at the teacher, like so loudly, trying to get free. See him struggle so much, it definitely, mess you up, because we have our MC, possibly dying. Now, obviously, because he is the main character, I definitely don't see him dying, but at the same time, it's definitely not looking good for him, because once that car went in, like it was quickly filling up with water, and we see now that in like Satoru's mind, all these memories were like coming back to him, of Kaio, who we now see living happily with her grandmother, because at one point I was like definitely kind of worried, because their teacher, he actually drove Kaio and oh my god, Kaio and her grandmother away. There we go. He actually drove them away. So how do we know, he didn't kill them? But luckily, they had showed her living happily. That right there was nice. We have, Kazu and Aya, they're like on a date. And then we have, Hiromi, Kenya, and the boy with glasses. They're all hanging out as well. and at one point we have Satoru's mother looking out the window because it was now snowing, but obviously she would be worried because her child is not home yet. And so then we have, you know, like then we go into like Satoru's mind where we have like this film moving around, and then we have him going through his memories once again, but slowly, you know, like all of this film, they were like being torn and then coming to a halt, and then we see now that the area was like fading to black, and then we see now, you know, Satoru's body was like now drowning in the water, but I'm pretty sure that right there was like in his mind. So right now I'm definitely, you know, kind of worried because that right there is where the episode ended. So I do wonder how in the world can Satoru, you know, get out of this, because right now I definitely have my doubts about it. But of course, let me know what you guys thought. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And please, you know, let me know what you guys thought, because like I said, this episode to me, it was definitely good, if not the best one that we got so far. But as always, you guys take it easy, and I will see you all next time.